For over 50 years, SNL has minted stars like Eddie Murphy, Kristen Wiig, Will Ferrell, and many more. But sometimes the show isn't the right fit for a huge talent, and they flame out after one season. Ben Stiller was yet another single-year cast member of SNL who did not especially enjoy his time on the show. And it showed. In fact, Stiller came into season 14 and only lasted 4 episodes. Stiller opened up about his experience on the New York Times' The Interview podcast, saying, "It had been my dream to be on Saturday Night Live, but looking back on it, I don't remember exactly how I had the gumption. I got too nervous. I didn't enjoy it, and I wanted to be making short films." Stiller would prove more comfortable behind the camera and when acting in things he could control. This became evident immediately after his stint on SNL, with Stiller moving to MTV for 1990's extremely influential sketch program, The Ben Stiller Show.
You want the truth? I want the truth! What do you want? The truth! When do you want it? Now!
Of course, he would go on to direct major comedy films such as Reality Bites, Tropic Thunder, and Zoolander.
There it is. Magnum. Holy moly.
Years before Sarah Silverman became an acclaimed stand-up comedian and actor, she was an anxious 22-year-old on season 19 of Saturday Night Live. As such, her year on SNL wasn't especially memorable, but her firing certainly was. Silverman said on The Howard Stern Show, "I was so new to the industry, and they were like, 'Yeah, you're fired.' And I was in such denial about it. I couldn't believe it." Silverman also elaborated on how humbling the experience was. She told Stern, "There's just something about it where they just have this energy that puts you in your place, where you feel like a piece of shit and terrified with the anxiety. It's very hard to be zen and chill there."
God, I'm so embarrassed. No!
Robert Downey Jr. was hired for season 11 of Saturday Night Live. The season would come to be known as the Weird Year due to both its odd sketches that really pushed boundaries and a strange cast that mixed movie stars like Downey, Anthony Michael Hall, and Randy Quaid alongside controversial young comics like Terry Sweeney.
Go get him, Tiger.
Even though Downey did some serviceable impressions of Elvis Presley, John Mellencamp, and George Michael, he was self-conscious throughout his tenure at SNL. He eventually came to terms with his limitations, realizing that he wasn't the best fit for the show. Downey admitted in a 2019 episode of Off Camera with Sam Jones,
"No, I learned so much in that year about what I wasn't. I was somebody who was very ill-suited for rapid-fire sketch comedy."
Most of the cast was let go before season 12, which worked out for Downey, who would of course become one of the biggest movie stars on the planet. Saturday Night Live experienced a massive shakeup when creator Lorne Michaels left the show for its 6th season in 1980, taking its cast and most of the writers with him. Associate producer Gene Dumanian was hired to run the show, but was fired after 12 episodes, and the season ended prematurely when a writer's strike shut things down. It was a mess of a season, but cast member Gilbert Gottfried was considered a bright spot in the show, even though he was underused in the season.
And for the life of me, I don't know how anything gets in and out of that pathetic little hole.
Gottfried appeared sparsely throughout season 6, impersonating filmmaker Roman Polanski and portraying a talk show co-host. According to Vulture, the writers accused him of withholding his funniest material and impressions, hoarding them for his own stand-up routine instead of using them on SNL. Gottfried admitted on the Joe Rogan Experience,
"I didn't like the writers and the writers hated me. I didn't have a great time there at all."
He was fired alongside several other members of the cast when Dick Ebersol took over from Dumanian. Producer Dick Ebersol tried to reinvigorate SNL for season 10. He tapped big names with contracts that only required 1 year of involvement, allowing comedians to try the show out without a lot of pressure and commitment. Among the fresh faces who joined in 1984 was Billy Crystal, who actually already had a history with the show. Crystal hosted SNL twice in season 9, in March and May of 1984, before appearing as a cast member when season 10 premiered on October 6, 1984. His work on the show drew critical praise, with one character in particular entering the cultural zeitgeist with the phrase,
"You look marvelous. Absolutely marvelous, eh?"
Crystal's contract expired, and he went on to become a massive star. Aside from Billy Crystal, season 10 of SNL featured another future comedic legend, Martin Short. Short brought some of the characters with him from his previous sketch comedy show, SCTV, such as Ed Grimley, and helped revitalize the show.
Taxi!
Thinking the show would be canceled any week, Short said,
"I was terrified every show. During the 4th show on the Tuesday, I went in to try to quit."
However, Short managed to last until the season's final episode on April 17, 1985. The season finale was also Short's last episode. Like Billy Crystal, Short's contract simply expired, and he moved on to bigger and better things. While Christopher Guest is mainly known as the filmmaker responsible for many beloved mockumentary comedies such as 2000's Best in Show and 2003's A Mighty Wind, he does appear in front of the camera from time to time. In fact, he had just starred in 1984's comedy masterpiece This Is Spinal Tap when he was hired as a cast member for season 10 of SNL.
These go to 11.
Along with many characters, Guest made somewhat experimental pre-filmed pieces for the show, anticipating his directing career. Guest did not enjoy his single year as a cast member on Saturday Night Live, telling Marc Maron on his WTF podcast, "I'd called my lawyer on the Monday and said, 'Can I go home?' He said, 'Probably a little late at this point. It's gonna be hard for you to get out of this.'"
You know what I hate is when I take my lip, and I pull it out, and I put it right on a blotter,
Yeah. You take a staple gun and staple it
right
into the
down to the desk. I hate that.
For the 1985 season, Lorne Michaels decided to go big and offer Saturday Night Live to already established actors, rather than stand-up comedians. This included 17-year-old Anthony Michael Hall, at the height of his Brat Pack fame.
In physics, well, we talk about physics, properties of physics.
So it's sort of social.
While Hall was already successful thanks to films like National Lampoon's Vacation and 16 Candles, he was still extremely nervous about SNL. Hall said there was a lot of pressure to be funny, explaining to Entertainment Tonight,
"It was challenging, and also the pressure to be funny, but SNL's a trip. You're dealing with so much. There's a live audience there. It's like rock and roll, theater, stand-up."
Additionally, Hall admitted that the late-night content of the show wasn't always kid-friendly, and that the SNL writers often just didn't know how to write for a teenager like him. Hall told Entertainment Tonight, "When I look back, I have some memories of it being difficult, I think, for a lot of the writers to figure out how to write for this kid. I think it was a big challenge." Unlike other SNL hires in 1985, Damon Wayans did not have an established career, having only appeared in a funny cameo capacity in the 1984 film Beverly Hills Cop.
Go ahead, take those bananas.
Unfortunately, Wayans had a miserable experience on the show. Wayans said in the docuseries SNL 50 Beyond Saturday Night that Eddie Murphy had advised him,
"Write your own sketches. Otherwise, they're gonna give you some black people to do, and you ain't gonna like it."
When the writers refused Wayans' ideas, that's inevitably what happened, and he started pushing back. Eventually, Wayans sabotaged his time at SNL by improvising during a sketch called Mr. Monopoly. Instead of portraying the character as he did during rehearsals, Wayans played the character as a crude gay stereotype.
I purposely did that because I wanted him to fire me.
Sure enough, Michaels did just that, firing him after 12 episodes. Chris Elliott had already led the groundbreaking sitcom Get a Life and co-starred in Groundhog Day by the time he joined SNL for season 20. He wished he hadn't. He told Salon in an interview, "I had a terrible time. You're doing comedy, but you're competing with your fellow cast members for airtime. I had never worked in an environment like that. It looks like it's really a lot of fun, but you're constantly auditioning."
Hi, fellas.
Hi, Bob.
Elliott was one of 10 cast members who was fired at the end of season 20, the biggest overhaul of an SNL cast in a decade at that point. Like Chris Elliott and quite a few 90s SNL stars, Janeane Garofalo was arguably too hip and niche for the show, which made her time there a difficult experience. She also made the mistake of being honest in interviews about SNL and its cast, creating tension between her and other cast members. For instance, after she told one outlet that she thought Adam Sandler's routine was childish, he refused to speak to her for weeks until suddenly blowing up at her, according to New York Magazine.
Good Lord! In the name of all that's sacred?
Because of her outspoken behavior and complaints about a sexist writer's room, Garofalo was often relegated to playing bit players in SNL sketches she absolutely hated. Garofalo quit mid-season after 14 episodes.